Not Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, not Willy, but Wonka was the latest thing my eyes got to witness. And here's my honest review of this film. So, spoilers ahead. So, Wonka, directed by Paul King, is a film about the iconic Roald Dahl character Willy Wonka. Now, there have already been two films adapted from the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory book. We have Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and we have Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. But this film here is served as a prequel to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, following Wonka's journey building up his own chocolate factory. So Willy Wonka, played by Timothée Chalamet, goes to the Gala's Gourmet, which is most popular for Slugsworth chocolate. Now, Slugsworth is actually the villain to an extent in the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movie, in which he asked Charlie to give him the chance to get the recipe for the chocolate bar. Wonka travels to this town and unfortunately doesn't have any money to pay for a room. He eventually signs a contract which leads to him having to pay 10,000 shillings, I think they called, which equivalently works out to be 27 years worth of debt to pay off. So he gets put to the bottom of the floor and is forced to pay off his debt. Now, at this time, he meets a girl named Noodles, who is also another servant who is trapped in this debt deal from these evil hotel payers. With the help of Noodles, Wonka sneaks out every day and decides to sell his chocolate. But the chocolate cartel, they do not like it. And they decide to pay the chief cop with chocolate because, everyone loves their chocolate. Wonka, using his magic and his scrumdiddlyumptious tricks, ends up still selling his chocolate and sneaking around from the cops and starts to make a bit of money. Eventually, the cops do find out what his plan is, and the cartel approach the hotel lady and ask him to poison his chocolate. So Wonka eventually buys his store, and it's magical, this wonderful scene of this magical chocolate place. And unfortunately, the chocolate is poisoned, which results in his shop unfortunately burning down and his dreams getting crushed. From here, Slugsworth offers Wonka a deal for him to leave, give up his dream, and in result, let everyone who was in debt to the hotel go, and for Noodles to go on and live her life. And Wonka, being the nice person he is, he agrees to this deal and gets on the boat and sails away. This is where we get to see, for the second time, Hugh Grant's appearance as the Oompa Loompa, who eventually tells Wonka, "Nah, buddy, what are you doing? You gotta go back and get excited." Eventually, they get off the boat and they get back into the town. Wonka and the rest of his friends eventually try to bring the chocolate cartel down by throwing some dirt that they have, keeping a book of all the shady stuff they have done. But unfortunately, they do get caught, and Wonka and Noodles are thrown into a massive chocolate tub, I guess you could say. And they are drowning by the chocolate. Once again, we get the King Oompa Loompa come and save the day, letting them free, and they eventually get the book, they show the cops, and they take down the corruption of the cartel. Eventually, the film ends with Wonka and the Oompa Loompa coming to an agreement to work together and to start up the chocolate factory, and this is where we get our first look of Willy Wonka's factory, which looks just as amazing as I remember, if not better, and that's where the film ends. Chalamet as Willy Wonka. He has such good pipes on him. He was singing, because this was a bit of a musical, this film, which I actually enjoyed. He was singing and he just played this Willy Wonka character really well. And I was so impressed with his performance. We had Hugh Grant as the Oompa Loompa, who, not gonna lie, didn't look very, very good, in my opinion. It looked almost creepy and too small compared to the original ones, but I suppose they did use CGI this time around to make him look smaller. But Hugh Grant as an actor, amazing. Once again, amazing. We then have Callie Lane, who plays Noodle, who did a good job at playing this, this little girl who just wants to help Wonka out and just get through her life with knowing who her parents are. We then get a couple of big cast members here. We then get Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean himself, who plays a priest. He doesn't get much screen time, but every time he's on screen, makes me laugh. But honestly, my favourite character in this entire film was Keegan-Michael Key, Toad himself. He played the police chief, and he just done an amazing job. Every time he was on screen, he made me laugh. He got fatter and fatter throughout the entire film as well because he kept eating more chocolate, and he even had his own little musical number in there, and I thought he'd done a fantastic job. The entire cast did a really well job, and yeah, they sold this Willy Wonka fantasy Ronald Dahl look and characters, and I loved it. So the pacing in this film, nothing special. It works. It works fine. Nothing incredible. You get lost at times. You get a little bit down, a little bit low and bored at times. But then it brings you up with a musical number. That's one thing this film I think does really well is the amount of musical numbers in here. They keep you on that ball. They keep you involved at all times. Like they might have like a really dull like conversation. And it's just like, yeah, that conversation is definitely needed, but you don't want to hear it because you've just heard a wonderful song. Then you have, this conversation, and then we get another song, and you're like, oh, I'm back into it. There was one song that they sang was like Scrub Scrub, and I was like, nah, this is shit. And then after in the car, me and my friend were blasting it. I was like, yeah, this goes hard now. They had the Pure Imagination song in there right at the end. That touched my heart. I love that song. Always a childhood classic song for me. But yeah, the pacing in this film, it was alright. But all in all, Wonka is a fantastic film. I think it's amazing, visually amazing. The music in it is amazing. It'll get stuck in your head. It's catchy. It feels like you're watching a Willy Wonka film. Ronald Dullness is there with the rhymes and the mistwisted words like scrumdiddlyunctus and just Willy Wonka is there. And I think it's really cool to have a prequel to his story to see where he started. It was a little bit emotional too, knowing that the whole journey of Willy Wonka was for his mum. Definitely will be a hit, I believe, especially anyone who likes Ronald Dahl's books and just the atmospherical musical numbers and a little bit of comedy in there. Nothing out of the blue, but it's definitely worth a watch, this film. So for Wonka, I'm actually going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Just because of those small pacing moments that put me down, as well as the Hugh Grant Oompa Loompa look. That's the only things that put me off. And honestly, I don't like Timothée Chalamet that much as an actor, if I'm being honest, but he did an exceptional job, and I thought amazing. I think this film is worth going to see in cinemas. Definitely go check it out, 100%. But apart from that, I appreciate you checking out this review. Be kind, love one another. I'm Big Ali. See you on the next one.